for some reason or other today I was thinking about when we first moved to Minnesota when I was in high school, and some of this I may have told before, but I was just thinking about it. So I think, as I've said before, when after my sophomore year in high school, Papa had gotten out of the Air Force, had this farm in Minnesota, and he and I, right after school was out, for me, he and I then moved, so like, I'm pretty sure I've told this one, like, we had this big old farm truck, and rather than stay at a hotel or whatever, it seemed like there were 1 or 2 nights we had to sleep on the trip. So like, he slept in the cab, and then the truck, the way he had me kind of like under the bed with this piece of canvas hanging down to disguise that I was there. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I've talked about that, on a cot. Like, we set up a cot and stuff. So I don't know. Thinking back on it now, I think, well, if it was to save money, why didn't we go to a campground and set up a tent or something? Anyway, whatever. So, but once we got to Minnesota, again, I think I've talked about this before too, it was like we were kind of homeless, because there was a house on the farm that had not been lived in, though, for decades. No windows. It really wasn't habitable the way it was, and the original plan, of course, was to actually restore that house, and that's where we were going to live. That didn't work. That didn't happen, but that's what we were going to do. And so, but the thing I was thinking about today was when we first got there, because it was, you know, like late May or whatever, but the springs there in Carlstead can be very wet, and so coming into the original farmyard, there was a driveway that was built up a little bit, and because of that, next to it there was like a ditch, or there was a low area that had water. So the first few weeks, first 2, 3, 4 weeks that we were there, that I would actually, that's where we would get water out of that standing little low place that was full of water. We would get water to take baths in. That's what I mean, we didn't drink it, but we took baths in it. And I remember, and I don't know why. Sorry, I keep having to adjust that my phone. I don't know why we did that, but what I was thinking about, I don't know why I thought about it this morning, but what occurred to me was, I remember that as the water got lower and lower, you know, in that low area, that at one point, you know, I'm like washing my hair or whatever, and I'm picking grass out of it. It's just crazy. So also, when we first got there, we have this big tent. I think you call it a cabin tent, that was canvas. I mean, very heavy, old-fashioned, but you could stand up in it. It had a sturdy plastic floor. You could set regular beds up in it. It even had a place where you could put a stove in there. And but anyway, so when we first got there, we set it up on you know, in the farmyard, probably behind the house, I'm guessing, and then we stayed there. But the mosquitoes were so bad. I mean, they were just, I mean, you have no idea how bad the mosquitoes are there. I mean, just, I'm telling you, as bad as you've ever seen mosquitoes, take that by 5 or 10 times, and you'll have a rough idea. They were just horrible. And the ticks, I think I've talked about that too, that because no one had lived on this place and the grass was long, and we would walk around and do what we did, that it, you know, that every night you'd get 20 or 25 ticks off you. I mean, we, you know, used to keep count. But anyway, so also on the farm, there was a granary, which would basically, it's just a small house that is meant to store grain on the first floor, but it also had a second floor that had, you know, actually had a wooden floor and everything. So we thought, well, maybe if we move up to the second floor of this granary, then the mosquitoes won't be so bad. We're really flawed thinking. I mean, because by moving to the second floor, we were only going up 10 feet. So it's not like we were going 300 feet in the air or something and hoping the mosquitoes wouldn't find us. But anyway, so that didn't work, but it did we did come up with the idea if we took that tent and we basically set it up like it was a giant mosquito net. So we dragged this tent up to the second floor of this granary, and then we suspended it from the rafters, the corners or whatever, from the rafters using, I don't know, rope, I guess, and then we moved our beds in there, and then we slept in there. So it was like it was like a big giant mosquito net, and so we really, I was just thinking about the way that we had it set up was, again, just imagine this is just a bare room on the second floor of a farm building. It's probably 20 feet by 15 feet, wooden floor, bare rafters. There's a door on one end, there's a window on the other end, and then, like I said, we have this tent set up like a like a giant mosquito net. And then where the tent wasn't, and in front of the windows, we had set ourselves up like a, I guess yeah, like a camp kitchen. So we had a camp stove, we had a dish pan there to wash dishes, and then also like a, you know, the thing we could use to bathe in and that sort of stuff. And then I know this is going on a little bit, but I'll just tell one other thing that I remember about this. And that is that when we got there, there was no outhouse. Obviously, we had no plumbing. We had no electricity. We had no fresh water. So when you went to the bathroom, you had to go to the bathroom outside. Now, just a few minutes ago, I mentioned how bad the mosquitoes were. Yeah, if you were trying to go poop and you were and had to go in the, it was just, they would just eat you up. And so there was a house down the road, and Papa knew, for some reason, knew the owner of this house, and it had an outhouse. So he asked him if we could have the outhouse. So we actually went down there with the truck and loaded the outhouse onto the truck and dragged it, or drove it back to our house, dug a hole, put the outhouse, and that was much easier on a person. And it was also fortunate that we did that, because once we did move into the mobile home that we eventually got, instead of trying to rebuild that house, is that there were certain conditions. If it got below 40 degrees below zero and the wind was out of the west, then the water would freeze going into this house. So again, if you had to go to the bathroom, you had to go out to this outhouse, which is an experience when it's 40 degrees below zero. But anyway, so anyway, there's just a few things that I remember about when Papa and I first moved there to Minnesota. And again, now it just seems insane that we did that. But I don't think, I mean, I don't know what other people must have thought. I don't, because they knew we were there. I mean, it's a very, very sparsely populated place. So I don't know, just craziness. Anyway, okay, thanks for letting me do all this. Love you.